everybody, it is Joe here with the Family Flips YouTube channel, and in this video I sit down with Kraft. He is a fellow entrepreneur, YouTuber, he does all kinds of stuff, but we're going to link his YouTube channel in the description along with his Facebook group so that you can check it out. But we sit down and we talk about kind of what we do, which is we buy Amazon liquidated shelf pulls and returns. We turn around and we sell those on eBay, Amazon, also out of our retail space. And but we just sit around and talk about our journey with that and where we see the future going with buying liquidated pallets and truckloads. So if this video or any other video, something like that you're interested in doing, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, turn on notifications so that you will get notified when we release new content, and like this video.
What is going on, guys? This is Kraft with the Facebook group Bowl Around Pickers Lounge. I'm coming at you again with a very special presentation. Last week we had someone on speaking about the topic of retail arbitrage, and this week we have a specialist who deals in Amazon pallets, purchasing and reselling. It is Joe Rensing with Conway Resale. How are you doing today, buddy?
Doing pretty good, man. How are y'all doing today?
We're doing great, thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here. I truly do appreciate that. So, right off the bat, who are you within the Amazon ecosystem, and what would you like us to know?
Yeah, my name is Joe Rensing, and we sell on Amazon, eBay. Kind of what we do is, or what we're doing now, our business has kind of evolved over the last year. Just we're trying to keep up with the changing times. And we started buying pallets of Amazon returns back in August of last year. And now we are buying whole truckloads of pallets.
Yeah, you know, I've been watching your story from the backside. You know, I remember you came onto the scene, right around August of last year, and you were starting to dabble in it. I saw your last post with that full truckload, and you went from single pallets to full truckloads of inventory. How has this whole experience been for you? I mean, were you in this industry before? Or?
I've been in a full-time reseller for 4 years, and part-time for about 3 or 4 years before that. And we're about to have somebody walk by. We might have to answer that question again. There shouldn't be.
That's fine. That's fine. We'll roll with it.
I know you can edit.
No, you're inside of a busy warehouse. This is what people need to see. They need to see the growth and the development of a brand like yours.
Cool. So, I mean, 4 years ago, we went full-time. I was in the food and beverage industry for a number of years. Since I was 14, general manager for Cracker Barrel, Chili's, all that. I got tired of it. Started flipping cell phones in a 26-foot Winnebago, and just buying and selling phones. And I don't know, if you're on Facebook, you've probably seen that Daniel or David with the K something about flipping phones. I didn't do the high-end phones. I found a specialty niche dealing with a lot of flip phones, slider phones, 3 and 4 year old prepaid smartphones from like Boost Mobile, Metro PC. I just found this niche and was very successful in it. But with anything, you've got to buy low and sell high. And I found last year one of my main suppliers started selling the phones differently. Before, I'd buy big lots of phones, like 20, 30 phones at a time, that would have really good phones mixed in with really crappy phones that were broken, or slider phones, just not very desirable phones, which kept the overall cost of goods low. But probably around this time last year, they started putting all the good phones in lots of 4 or 5 or 6 or 10, which drove the prices way up, which was good for them, but bad for me. So as I was going through stuff, I was buying from like B-Stock Solution, buying lots of Walmart return phones from there, and kind of evolving. I'm like, man, I've got to get some stuff that's cheaper if I'm going to continue to be successful, if I'm going to continue growing. If it was just me operating out of a bedroom out of my house, the cost of goods that I was buying the phones for would have been profitable. You know, we would have been able to make some good family money for our family. But I'm a go-getter. I like to dream big. I like to go after it and build, businesses. And so working on my own just wasn't going to cut it. So we stumbled across buying a pallet. Our first pallet we ever bought was from liquidation.com, and it sucked. It was a manifested pallet and it had. I bought it because of those Instapots, the pressure cookers. It was supposed to have like 5 on them, right? But they don't tell you whether the stuff is good or bad. And we got the pallet in, and it was all junk. I mean, everything was either missing pieces or it was broken. I think the only thing that I enjoyed was we got a brand new pot and pan set out of it that I think was missing one of the pans. But the rest of it, I just gave it all away because it sucked. I didn't like it. But I remained hopeful, so I just started looking around on all these different Facebook, groups with pallet people who sold pallets and stuff. I stumbled across American Pallet Liquidators. They talked to them, asked lots of questions, and there's no pallet liquidators here in Arkansas. Even though we're in Walmart capital of the world, they don't really have any pallet liquidators for what I was doing. So with American Pallet Liquidators, they had Amazon pallets. That I talked with many salespeople there. This was the pallet that they recommended since I was never actually able to come look at the pallets. There's they sell like Walmart black wrap pallets, Lowe's pallets, all kinds of pallets. But for those, if you're buying individual pallets, you can get burned, and I think that's kind of the thing where a lot of people shy away from buying returns is because you can get one pallet and it sucks, which our first pallet sucked. So we went ahead and we bought 2 Amazon medium box pallets in August of last year. We got them in. We liked them.
Now, what kind of pricing are you talking about for these individual pallets back in August?
They were $500 for each pallet, and then we ended up having to pay around $220 per pallet to have it shipped. And at this point in time, we were in a 1,000 square foot office space. We didn't have loading dock. We didn't have any of that. So, they had to bring the drop truck and unload it for us, which was like an extra $40 charge per pallet. And but we got the pallets in, and it was good stuff. I think the first pallet we got was a 3D printer. We got that in. We were hooked because that printer, it paid for one of the whole pallets, and it was a brand new printer. Hadn't even been unboxed. It was just, I have no idea why they returned it, but it hadn't been unboxed.
So now you're buying truckloads. Now, how many pallets go onto a truckload?
24 pallets, and you can get other for this specific one. You can get some that have like 28 pallets and some even 32, depending on how they stack them.
Okay, let me ask too. Now, from August when you started, was there any difficulty in getting pallets? Like, if you had an infinite budget, could you get as many pallets as you wanted, or was it pretty tight as far as what you were able to get then?
You can get as many as you want.
Okay, and even to this day today, you can get as many pallets as you can afford, correct?
Yes, the pallet that I'm buying now that I really like is the Amazon. If I could talk, the Amazon small box pallets, a specific kind. I don't have. There's some that you can get that have food and books in them. They're a little bit more pricier, I imagine, because of the books. But these, they don't have any books, no food, so the price is a little bit less. But for these, there's a waiting list of about 7 to 21 days. But I mean, they told me 3 weeks on the last one, but then they messaged me in like 5 days and said it was ready, and I could pick it up whenever I was ready.
In all reality, that's a small wait for what you want,
Yeah, it is.
Now, the main reason I wanted to have you on today, obviously, we want to let people know about Conway Resale, especially people in your area, or how they can connect with you online if they want to, make some purchases or getting into pallets and stuff like that. But I myself have seen a large difference in the quantity as well as the quality of goods that I've seen over here in California. So when we're dealing with these pallets, is it safe to assume it's a mix of returns, items being marked for removal from Amazon stores, like customer change mind type situations? It's a combination of all of that, right?
It is.
Now you started in August, okay? So we're 5-6 months out, and again, congrats on your growth. Have you seen a difference in the quality of goods, or even the quantity of available specific types of goods in that time?
I think they're probably doing a better job of, or Amazon is, of sorting the goods and distributing amongst where they're going. What I mean by that is we don't get really any high-end electronics. Like, we don't get computers, we don't get cameras or TVs or digital cameras or video game systems. So I know that they are doing a better job of distributing that, or I can't even think. I'm having a brain fart right
No,
now.
it's fine.
But organizing those pallets and those goods at their return centers to where they're able to get a lot more money for a pallet of computers or high-end electronics. We don't get those, kind of our goal and why we get what we get is because there's not a lot of other places here in Conway, Arkansas that we can sell a lot of this stuff. Like we do bargain bin sales here. So like we sell online. About 33% of all the items we get, it either goes to our Amazon store or our eBay store or both. And then the other 66%, it gets sold in those bins behind you. You can see behind me there's some black bins that we do bargain bin sales. We sell everything is usually $4 or under. There's some $2, some $1. Granted, we have some items that are $10, $15 that we kind of put all this stuff. It's items that are generally $20 to $30 in value that they're not really conducive for shipping because shipping's going to cost $10 and you got eBay fees and PayPal fees and all that we just mark it down and get rid of it here.
Now, two other questions for you. Yeah. Have you seen any new type of stuff coming into your pallets over the last month or two that you haven't seen in previous months? I've personally started to see certain types of products showing up at the swap meet. Don't want to put words in your mouth, but have you seen any changes in the types of inventory you're getting?
It's a lot of Chinese goods, a lot of items from China for these specific pallets. I mean, granted, around this time of year, I think we probably should have waited about 2 or 3 weeks to purchase this truckload because I was wanting to get a lot more Christmas items from this truckload. And I didn't really see a whole lot of Christmas stuff. There was a few items, but most of this, it wasn't a lot of that, which I was hoping for. I think if we would have waited a couple more weeks, we probably would have seen some more of that start hitting the truckloads of stuff. But as far as stuff, I mean, I don't know if I could confidently comment on, I mean, we've only been in this for 6 months now. So for us, I mean, this is the second truckload of stuff that we've gotten in. Maybe the third or fourth truckload we can probably start to tell. But I know, I just from reading articles and talking to people, that I know that Amazon is getting more strategic with their organization with what goes where on what pallets and what gets sold to liquidation.com and then all these other places. I know there's some places, some truckloads you can get where it's all brand new shelf pull stuff. But obviously, the price, we paid $7,500 for these 24 pallets and we'll probably net 80 to 100,000 in retail sales from it. And profit margin, probably 30 or 40 grand will profit from this truckload, and which is, in my opinion, that's pretty good.
Oh, damn skippy it is. How does it take you to process all those pallets?
We got into 24 a couple weeks ago. We really just started going through the pallets last week, and we sold probably 3 or 4 pallets of stuff at the bargain bin sales that we had last week, and we've got, I don't know, several hundred items already listed on Amazon or eBay. So it'll probably take 5, maybe 6 weeks to process a whole truckload. And granted, I've got 2 full-time employees, and I've got my wife who helps out when we're not homeschooling and stuff. So I mean, it's 3 people.
God knows you're putting hours in too.
Yeah.
When you're at the top, you're just going nonstop, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So now you talk about the Chinese goods. You said we're seeing a bit more of that. Maybe not a crazy amount, but certainly a visible change.
Yeah.
Have you gotten to a point yet where you've had to throw away stuff that you just simply feel won't sell, even if it's brand new?
Yeah, I got one. Like even this, I've been giving these away. You can tell by marketing, it sucks. What this is, it's they're stickers you put on your cell phone, and then you can stick it to a wall. And I think they're $6 on Amazon, but I didn't even feel right selling them here at my bargain bin sales. I was just giving away because, it's kind of a dumb product in my opinion. I'm about money and stuff, but as a business person, if you don't believe in the product, you're going to have a hard time selling it.
Yeah.
I mean, at least, there's some stuff that I'm like, I know it's going for, I mean, I don't know. Here's my deal. I love this business. I'm in this business because of the consumeristic nature of the American culture. But at the same time, it's really opened my eyes, and it's kind of sickened me in the way of how much we pay for stuff and how much junk we actually buy that we don't really need. And
I'm even like going further back, and I'm looking at the amount of junk that's being made. I was talking
Yeah.
with a reseller the other day who's our Goodwills have been catching Target items like that fail to sell. Items that
Yeah.
he was telling me about a Star Wars collectible that was 150, and then it got marked down to 60, and then ended up at Goodwill down for $20. And
Yeah.
there was multiple of them on the shelf. And if you go online, look at the secondary market, it's around $50, and the size of it, there's no meat on the bone, even at a $20 buy. And it just really started to make me think of just all of the junk that's being made, that there's truly not enough consumers to buy what's out there. And I've been going around the swap meets, and I'll be playing some footage with this, showcasing the massive tables of screen protectors and really dated cell phone cases, and stuff like the stickers right there, just tat and rubbish. And I see even the trash cans there. The vendors are just throwing stuff away at this point because they know that, because your space is valuable. You only have a finite amount of it, and you really want to put stuff out that's going to sell. And I see vendors just starting to throw stuff away, and it kills me to see this. And now, to add on to that, do you feel that there's any chance we could get to a point of hypersaturation, to where you're holding so much of this stuff, and all these other resellers are holding so much of this stuff, and especially as Amazon starts gating down more and more categories and saying, you can't sell this, you need to be approved to sell this. Do you have any concerns of that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think at some point in time, we're all operating within a window of time. As people who are selling on Amazon, eBay, there is a window of time that we have available to us before the U.S. economy, it's going to collapse. I don't think it can sustain the current buying habits and the way that we live. It's not sustainable.
Yeah.
So I think, for me, is I'm taking advantage of the time that we do have available. And that's why when we
I wouldn't even say taking advantage. I'd say you're making the most of it and positioning yourself and your family so that if this happens, that you're going to be in a good spot.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah. I think with that is like, we don't charge top dollar for stuff. Our selling practices is like, we've got so much stuff that I'm not trying to get top dollar for something. For everything that we price it below the market. Everything on Amazon that we have, I think we have about 200 Amazon listings now that because we just started selling on there about 2 weeks ago. Everything is priced below the market value. On eBay, everything is priced below market value because, for us, we're getting a great deal on this stuff. It's for us is we want to be able to save people money. Yes, we want to make money, but making, I've made money. I was 27. We just got to sell. Sorry about that. $87 laser alignment. And I forgot where I was going.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Yeah, one other thing I wanted to touch on. We'll just come full circle because I know you're on limited time right now.
Yeah.
We're talking about the level of hyper-consumerism. Really what it is, and just the very just tight window that we work in. How far out do you feel we are from the point of popping? I mean, as an industry professional now, where do you think we're at?
Yeah, I think a lot of that really depends on, who's sitting in the Oval Office, to get political.
Yeah.
I think, a lot of that really depends on the upcoming election in 2 years. Yeah. I'm not saying I'm pro-Trump. I'm pro a lot of his policies. I think, at this point, you kind of know what you're going to get.
I think we're pro a strong economy.
Yes.
Is really what it is. I could care less, who sits in that office for vendors like ourselves, independent, not collecting hourly. A strong economy allows the average consumer to spend money on, let's be honest, luxury items. There's not one item that's behind you that is is a quality of life necessary. Like you're not selling blankets
Yeah.
and water and roof tiles. You know, you're selling luxury left to right.
Yeah.
None of that is
Yeah.
necessary, and I'm the same way. You
Yeah.
know, that consumerism.
And
So when
I think for us is, we have a goal of this year to diversify. Is all this stuff, it's all want stuff. Probably 95% of the stuff we have is they're want items. Like they're not items that people need
Mhm.
on a daily basis. Our goal, because I do believe, online sales is the way that it is going to go. But if for long term, if we're going to stay successful as a reseller, an online seller, we're going to have to diversify into items that people need every single day. That they need it. They're not going to want it. And the window of time, I think maybe 4 to 7 years, really depending on how the elections continue going. But there's so many different variables that go into that. But I don't know. I feel like just a 4 to 7 year window for me personally. That's kind of what I'm looking at and taking advantage of this 4 to 7 years to use this to I always want to do this, but we want to have multiple other businesses. We want to be able to diversify our business portfolio and what we do to be able to combat the economic times and the really the unsteadiness that we have.
Yeah, no, diversification, I agree with you wholeheartedly, is key, and especially if you can work your way into those necessary, high quality of life type things beyond the luxury of.
Yeah.
So, the other thing too to add on to that is, the types of products that you're dealing in right now and how it differs from non-pallet buyers is your product is a virtually infinite product. You have almost an endless supply, but not necessarily through you, but anyone else. And I tell people, when it comes to diversification, if you can get into something that's more finite, whether it be collectibles or hand-sourced goods from thrift stores, however you diversify to strengthen that portfolio, it's going to be great for you.
Yeah. And I think also, I remember I was going to go earlier. I think now with all the private labeling, especially with Amazon, is now that there's so much of that, and there's so many people making money from teaching people how to do private label stuff and how to do this, and then you got Alibaba, I think is the name of it. Where you can go on and you can find people to make your stuff for cheap. We get a lot of that stuff, and I can see how that is resulting in getting a lot of stuff and in the overabundance of stuff because everybody's trying to make money. Everybody, they're really, unless you have an infinite amount of money, I'm talking about like billions, there really is no passive income, in my opinion. You've got to work for it.
Yeah.
And I think there's so many resellers out there, and Amazon and eBay, that have sold this passive income way of life of buy all the stuff, send it into Amazon, have them ship it for you. But I see the failures. I see the cases and cases of stuff, of junk, of failed labels or failed brands, and failed products that just weren't marketed properly. I see that, and I think with that it's again, it's the free economy. It's the people. I'm not going to say taking advantage of, but people working within the system, and the people who want a better life, but they don't really want to work for it in that way.
They want a quality of outcome without a quality of effort, is what it is.
And it doesn't exist.
Yeah, these programs, there are some that have some merit, but when we're looking at cookie cutter programs where it's, blank, get rich in 90 days, and we can just interchange that name with, 5,000 different people online right now, and it's basically saying, do this, you can cut to the front of the line, you can have your own private label, and then you're going to make it. You're going to be fine. But, just like with me and you, there seems to be this misconception that if you work for yourself, you don't really work that much. But the reality is, and you've heard it too, all you got to do is buy stuff and sell it. You must have a great time. Look at all the stuff you get. And people don't realize we work harder than pretty much everyone who's working their traditional, 8 to 5, who has their finite number of hours that they work. The moment we get off the line, I know you got to go here in a second, you're right back to work. You've got stuff you got to do immediately.
Because you're accountant, you're a marketing director, you are human resources director, you're a line level employee,
customer relations, human resources,
And that takes time. I mean, I don't think as human beings, very few people are able to change tasks and change mindsets that quickly. And in my opinion, there's a loss of productivity that does happen when you change job functions so much. Working in the restaurant industry for so long, changing the job functions, there's a loss of productivity because you have to change your mindset. That's why I always try and have a routine every single day, to where every Monday I do this, Tuesday I do this. Instead of doing a little bit of this every single day, I try to break it up into one day, just so you're not having to change job function mindsets and jump in and out of different tasks, because before you know it, you'll be rocking around all day and you've got like 15 projects halfway done, and you're like, what did I do with, I worked so hard all day long and I'm tired, so I know I worked hard, but I got nothing done.
You got nothing to show for it.
Yeah. So that's lessons you learn, as you go throughout, working for yourself as an eBay or Amazon entrepreneur.
No, I love it. And I'll be honest with you. I look forward to talking with you again in probably 6 months. I want to see where maybe in August, I want to see where the progression is. I want to see, because obviously you've learned a lot from August till now. And I'd love to see what you've learned from now till August. I know you got kiddos running around you, right?
Yeah, I thought
pressed on time. And hey, Joe, I can't thank you enough for being here. Before I let you go, tell people, how can they get in touch with you if they're looking to buy some of your inventory, especially locally? How can they get in touch with you online if they want to see your YouTube and stuff like that as well?
If you go to conwayresale.com, it'll take you where we're there. It's got a contact page on there. It's got like a shop now. You can go to our eBay store or our Amazon store. There's links there. And then on YouTube, we're the Family Flips. I wish we had a lot more time. I'm like, you do great editing. You take a lot of pride in the work you do.
Thank you.
My wife and I are the same way. She does all the editing. We just don't have time. So a lot of the videos that we do right now, they're all live videos because we have 3 kids. We have a business. We homeschool.
And I've seen your live videos. I love the energy in it. And, I'm not one to watch many people's live content, but it's very engaging. You guys look like you're having a great time doing this, which I love. We'll make sure that we put all of the links for everything in the description. And I understand, too, you want to make a really nice 10, 15-minute video. It's 4 hours of work,
It is.
And people don't realize that, And it might not even get 4 hours worth of views on the other side, so it's a little disheartening. It takes time. But I definitely look forward to speaking with you again here in 6 months, Joe. Thank you so much for taking the time to be on the show. And if there's any questions, comments, I'm sure people will reach out to you for that, okay?
Awesome. Appreciate you, Jay. You have a good one. Appreciate your time.
Likewise, my friend.